Hey there, my name is John Suscovich and I run a farm here out in Western Connecticut in the Northeast United States of America, and that has everything to do with Noah's question. Noah has been watching the Farm Marketing Solutions channel since he was 14, and that was about 2013, so he's probably in his 20s now. Congratulations, Noah. He's got a bunch of stuff. I won't get into the details of his property and what he's got going on, but he wants to know, as he's starting more of a serious business forward ag journey, how does he start marketing his products? How does he go about finding customers? And that's what we're going to talk about, how I started in my area. So hopefully you can glean some advice from today's video on how do you find more of the customers that you're looking for when it comes to selling your products. So thanks, Noah, for writing in. Also, thanks for following me for all these years. And if you don't know where to start, then that is a failing on my part, and I have to organize my website a little bit better so you can find this information, because I know it's out there. But how I got started, how I started selling chickens was my farm product. I had a chicken and herb CSA. My very first CSA member was through a targeted YouTube advertisement. I went into Google or YouTube advertising. I filled out the demographics that I was looking for, which was I targeted females who were mothers and had children, who were college educated, who were within a certain amount of miles of my farm. And I went through and looked for the people. I went for family oriented because I was selling whole chickens. I went with moms because they were looking for healthy food for their children. I went within a local radius because I didn't want somebody too far away, because it was local agriculture and I wanted to meet these people face to face. And that is how I got my first CSA customer ever. Then I didn't get many more after that. I actually ran that for a little bit of time, and then I started to get some advice from the people that I was meeting and talking to. I also had other facets of my marketing that I did when I was starting out. Some of them being I printed out flyers, and I would design a CSA flyer that had the information about my products with tearaway tabs at the bottom, and I would cut those tearaway tabs and I would rip one off, just one, because no one wants to ruin the perfect sheet. They're like, why is no one taking it? So you always tear one off, and I tacked it up at grocery stores, at Tractor Supply Company. I think I put one up at Home Depot, yoga studios, chiropractors, naturopathic, health food stores, and alternative medicine doctor's office or practitioners. Found people who were looking for healthy food raised in an alternative way out on pasture, not what you would typically find in the store, and then put up flyers and information out at those places. I also made a trifold pamphlet with all the information on my farm and left it at those same places. And then had a website and started social media. Now, if that sounds like a lot of work, it's a lot of work. Like if you're starting a farm, when you're getting started, before you have any crops up, start a website, learn what social media is and how to use it, and then either find a friend, someone on the internet, or if you have some basic graphic design skills, it doesn't have to be super fancy. There's templates for all this stuff. I use templates for a bunch of this. Start designing some flyers and information about what you're growing, how you're growing it, and how people can find out more information. So I established the website first, and then my Facebook ads, my flyers, and my in-person conversations and business cards all led back to my website where people could go for more information. I had a sign-up form on there. I had a countdown for how many shares I had to sell, so it showed that I was selling them to other people because I was new in the area. I wanted the proof of concept, and I had that information out there in the world that was accessible for the way that people digest the information. So if you're in an area looking for other stores or businesses that you could collaborate with, I actually reached out to a few local vegetable CSAs who didn't sell any meat and said, hey, I'm new in town, can I meet you? If we hit it off a little bit, I was like, it'd be really great if you could give me a leg up, or if they offered like, oh, you seem really nice, you're getting started, is there anything I can do to help you? And I said, it would be great if you could send an email out to your email list when you do your newsletter and say, I know you guys are our vegetable customers, but if you want some chicken, there's a new guy in town who's raising chicken and he plans to raise other things, but poultry is where he's starting. If you're interested, here's a link to his website. And that's how I got a whole bunch of people as well, because those were the customers who are already buying slow food, I just tapped into other people's markets, and I would do whatever I could to, I'd bring a six-pack of beer over to that farmer as a thank you, or I gave him a chicken later in the season for another, like, oh, I just got a chicken from the chicken guy, which I talked about last winter. Here it is in the middle of summer. He's got extra chickens to sell, and I just got one and I'm eating it and it's great. So working with other farmers, finding your customers, getting the information out there, having a home base with photographs to prove who you are, what you're all about, what your ethos is, what you're growing, and how do people get it. I have all of this information, by the way, detailed out in the Pasture Poultry Packet number 2. There's 250 pages in here, organized very neatly. Let's see how good this shows up on camera. Organized by tabs where I have case studies of the things that I used to do in the past, things that I'm doing currently, my opinions on social media, the absolute must-have checklist for your website. So if you're sitting down and you have writer's block because it's a blank page and you're not sure, websites are scary and the internet's a crazy place, and all that, I hold your hand through the workbook. It's a workbook. It's meant to be used and beaten and torn out of and put into and post-it noted so that you're actually utilizing this information to grow your business. You can find this book and my other books on farmmarketingsolutions.com/store, along with some nice hats and t-shirts. And yeah, you can be the change you want to see in your business by following some case studies, doing the work. When you plant an orchard, when you plant a hop yard, when you're starting a garden, when you're growing chickens, when you start grazing cattle out on pasture, you realize that there's going to be upfront work and it's going to take time, and the reward comes later. And there are things that go right and things that go wrong along the way. Your business and your marketing is the same way. There's upfront work of planning, learning how to raise a cow. You have to learn how to use QuickBooks. If you want to learn how to raise chickens, you got to learn how to make a website. All this stuff comes with being a farmer and trying to do this professionally and profitably and long-term viably. You've got to know these skills as well. And I tried to lay those out as best and as easy as I could in my books, which hopefully shortens your learning curve. And yeah, I just want more people to raise chickens out on grass, because that's the way chickens should be raised. And if you raise chickens, you're going to raise pigs. If you're going to raise pigs, you're going to realize that you're buying a lot of feed in. Then you're going to start raising animals that eat grass. You're going to fall more in love with it. You're going to develop a customer base, a family around it, and then you're going to grow. You're going to sequester carbon. You're going to help combat climate change. You're going to create case studies. You're going to go to APA conferences and other winter ag conferences, and this whole movement's going to grow just because you decided to take action and make that effort to raise animals out in a healthy and sustainable way. Thank you for taking the time to Noah, honestly, thank you for taking the time to watch all these videos. Go on my website in the past, follow along, read these books, raise these animals, because what you're doing makes a difference. And that, to me, is why I continue to shoot video instead of being at home drinking coffee with my family right now. So for all of you taking action, thank you very much. For all of you not taking action and hesitating, get started. Go volunteer on a farm. Go to the farmer's market and buy something nice, cook it, take a picture and talk about how it was raised. This stuff only happens with the more of us that there are. With all that said, thank you, enjoy your weekend, and until next time, I will see you out in the field.